Hello, hello guys. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this live session. I just want to confirm if you can hear me. Kindly indicate. You can hear me. Kindly indicate. Trying to see, ensure if ensure everything is going well. If you can hear me, kindly indicate. Okay. So sounds like our audio is working fine. So I'm just going to make some little announcements in the group. So if you follow this, if you're following this live session, um, just comment on the comment section. Let us know where you're joining us from. Okay, so let us know where you're joining us from. Your name, the location, just your name and the location will be fine. Your name and the location. Okay, so I have my feedback set up here. So alright, so today we'll be doing Ask Me Anything, and I also asked you guys to send the designs for live critique on our WhatsApp group. So I'm just going to head on right there and download the image. So this is the first one that was sent. Okay, this is the first design that was sent to the group. So we're going to be doing a critique of this design. I see we have more people joining us. Please help me and share this link everywhere on the status. Tell them that I'm live. Johnson, also known as the critique priest, is live. And we'll be having an exclusive session. Okay, if you have questions that you'd like me to address, kindly put them on the. Okay, you can use the live YouTube chat, but if you want your design to be critiqued, if you want me to do a live critique of the design, then you need to find a way to send that to our WhatsApp group. I think that's the only way, that's the major way I can access it now. Or to make it easier for those that are not on our WhatsApp group, let me see. I think I have a Telegram channel. I think I have a Telegram channel where I post free resources like this. So let me just cross check that. Let's see. Um, Meanwhile, I said earlier that if you're just joining us, you're welcome. Um, Kindly let me know your name and where you're joining us from. Okay, yeah, this is it. Let me share the link to the Telegram channel. I'm going to find a way to share this link to you guys uh, that are not on the WhatsApp group. We're going to put it over. You can get it. So let's test it. Um, Yeah, so let me quickly post this. Alright, so yes, join the Telegram group and paste your design for CNC. Okay. Alright, so yeah, so join the Telegram group and paste your design for criticism and correction. Okay. Alright, Peter from Abuja. Peter, you're very much welcome. Welcome to this live session. Please help me and share this link to your friends, to your creative friends, people that you know would benefit a whole lot as we go deeper. So it's already 20 minutes past 9. I won't be spending much time, just about 45 minutes, and I'll be out of the faces for tonight. So this design was done by, I didn't get his name. Let me just quickly get his name. Okay, this design was done by Moses. So Moses is a member of my community of creative on WhatsApp, and we did this design. I think he sent um, I think he sent the templates to you. I think he sent the template to you. So let me just see if I can find the template that he used and we send that to. Okay, just so that we can give it a little bit of context. In case you think my screen is, I'm not doing it. I'm currently looking for the template that he used. Okay, so this one is good. Let's look at that. Alright, so this is the design that we use as his template. So in case you're wondering what's a template, so in my community, I usually tell graphic designers that one of the fastest and easiest way for you to do a design and to do it very well, especially for starting, is you need to get the template. Alright, get the template and get a very good one. It helps you. It's going to save you a lot of time. Hello, the gold drums. I'm an alpha now. This designer, but that man with this. So welcome to the live session, bro. Alright, so this is the template that he used, and this was the original design. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of critiquing here. Let's start with the whole alignment. Let's start with the alignment. So the design, generally the alignment is fair. I'll give you that it's fair, but obviously it can be better. I think basically where there's a challenge with this design is in, let's start with the sizing of the pictures. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is this is how you arrange your pictures, right? Let me show you an example of correct sizing of pictures, especially when you have a large number of pictures, or let me say more than 3 pictures in your design. Let me just look for one of my old designs. How can I get such now? Or even if it's not my own design, okay, I can you can use someone else. Okay, let's see this. All right, so take a look at this. Okay, compare it with this. I mean, the size of pictures. Okay, there's a big difference. Now, one of the reasons why this is neat is because the size of head are almost equal. I don't want to say exactly equal, but they are almost equal. Okay, it helps. I know some people like, especially if you're doing a church like design, some people like to increase the size of the man of God, so that, or the host rather, so that people can know that, okay, this is the host because his picture is the biggest. That's good, but in a design sense, it's not a very good practice. Okay, so what you want to do is to ensure that all the sizes, or all the body sizes, are almost equal. It may not be possible to get it 100% equal, but at least let it look almost equal, like what we have here. Okay, so what I'll do is to increase the size of this picture, increase it, and then probably reduce this one a bit and all that. Meanwhile, the quality of the pictures that you use matters a whole lot. Someone said you can't see the screen. Oh, sorry. Wow. Please, can you see the screen now? You should be able to see the screen now. Please just kindly confirm. I'm sorry about that. So I was saying this is the design that we are critiquing, okay? So I have to put that first back. Sorry, it's my first time home. So permit me to make some mistakes. Alright. So can you let me know if you can see the screen now? Alright. So I was saying that this design is generally good. Okay, thank you so much for your feedback, Peter. Thank you for your feedback, Wisdom. Alright, so this is the design we're going to be critiquing. Okay, the design is generally good, but we are starting with the problem with the pictures. Okay, I'll say that this picture arrangement is not proper. It's not in proper alignment. Okay, the proportion is quite distorted. So I was using this as an example. So you can see that there are four people here, but the sizes of the images are almost equal, which means that it might not be perfectly equal. But one of the ways I think I struggled with this in the beginning when I started designing at first, but then one of the things I used to try and get it better is to watch the size of the head. Okay, so someone, some people have big body and small head, and then someone that have big head and small body. So the main thing is to have the size of the head at least almost equal. So once you can do that, you make a headway in your design career. So look at this now. The size of the head here is almost very similar with the one here. Although this one is looking a little bit bigger. Um, I don't know why, but of course, it's still almost equal. That's why I said you may not be able to get it 100%, but the major thing is that you're getting it something that the proportion is almost equal. All right, so moving on. Um, let's talk about the text used. Okay, excuse me, please. The text used. So these texts are actually nice, but how about we how about we use better fonts? Okay, how about we use better fonts? I believe there are better fonts that we can use for this, especially this text as we worship. So let's head over to Pinterest. Let me show you guys something. Okay, Pinterest is my go-to website or application on my phone. Before I usually go to Pinterest before I start any design um, just to look at what others have done and how to improve on it. So let's search for church flyer design. Very simple keyword, church flyer design. All right, so you can see very nice church flyer designs here. Let's try worship church flyer design. I think that should put more context. All right, so let me look for something outstanding. Usually for text like worship, I think um, serif font would actually work best. I think from my little experience, I think serif fonts work best um, for designs that have to do with worship night and stuff like that. Okay, see stuff like this now. So you can see this works better for things like worship. Okay, one of the reasons why is because worship. Now this is part of my design thinking. Okay, part of my design thinking is that I try to enter into the the meeting. I try to capture the whole burden of the meeting or the whole essence of the meeting. So one of the things I do is if you tell me that okay, we have a meeting and the theme of the meeting or the meeting is a worship meeting. Okay, I'm going to imagine okay, what happens during worship? One of the things that happens during worship is that people express themselves. Okay, and that's one of the things about serif fonts. Serif fonts are fonts that express themselves. They like to find expression. Okay, that's why I would prefer a serif font over a sans serif font um, in designing a worship night flyer. Okay, I'll say there's something that I teach in my private community. Okay, sorry for that glitch. I teach them that there is something called contrast. Okay, and there are different ways to achieve contrast. There are several ways to achieve contrast. There's something called contrast of font contrast. There's something called contrast of font or contrast in weights of font. For example, when you see this minister, I'm assuming this is Minister Shade Magnify. This is good, but since you have different parts of this text, this is minister. Minister is not part of the person's name. Minister is just the title per se that is given to the person. So if you want to differentiate between the person's name and the person's title, you can apply that principle of contrast. That's contrast of weight in font. Okay, so let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's look for a design. Where can we find a design like that now? Um, let's see. I know you're saying there are many designs here, and I just choose one. Yes, there are many designs, but not every design captures what I'm trying to explain here. Trying to see if I can find. If I can't find them, you just have to go to what's it called? Pinterest again. I think for most of my Revival Hub flyers, I use the same font width, but I think that I should have done apply this to somewhere. Excuse me, please. Okay, so I can't find a particular design where I'm on. I think I should have. No. I should have. Let's see. I don't think this is my. Okay, this is not my design, but this is a very of what I'm talking about. So the purpose of the Telegram group that the Telegram link I posted is for you to post your designs for critique. Okay. So this is an example of what I was talking about. Okay. So although this one is using a different font, but it's still serving the same purpose. And the purpose is to differentiate the title from the person's name, especially if it's a short flyer design. Okay. Or sometimes we do it when we want to differentiate between the person's first name from the person's last name. So just a way of differentiating things. Contrast of weight and font. So that would be a correction I would have done there. And then seeing that this minister is actually very far from this Sadi magnify, sorry. Okay, so I would want to bring that closer so that it doesn't look like two entirely separate things. Okay. Same thing with this other one. Okay. So yeah. Then for the date is there's a way to arrange dates. Okay. There's a way to arrange dates for it to be pleasing. I think for this one, let me just show you guys my my resource bank. Okay. So I have a resource bank of flyers that I use as templates. This is, I think they're about 999, and this is actually the recent ones. I had an old folder of church flyer designs, but I deleted them because they are old. So you can see here is even showing church flyer design in brackets new to show that these are the new ones. So let's see if we can get from um, get a point from one of the designs here. Let's wait for that to load. So I was saying that there's a better way to arrange what's it called to arrange dates. So while we wait, okay, I think it's downloaded. So let's just open one up. You see, information, the purpose of flyer design is to pass across an information. So if your design isn't passing across an information, then it has lost its purpose. Okay, it has lost its purpose. Please, if you're following live, kindly leave a like and drop a comment. Just kindly let me know where your name and where you're following from. All right, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. All right, so back to what I was saying. There are several ways to arrange dates. Okay, this is a good way to arrange it. Although this one isn't detailed enough, like I was saying earlier, flyer design is meant to pass across an information or pass across information. Okay, and in passing across information, you should be able to go as detailed as possible, such that someone really doesn't have to um, look at the write-up that is following the flyer to get important details. Just looking at the flyer, the person should be able to get all the important details. For example, if I see this design in 2 years' time, it will be difficult for me to tell if this design was done in 2020, if this meeting rather was done in 2025 or 2024 or 2023. You get it. Why? Because there is no year here. All right, so it's important. All these details matter a whole lot. This one is basically the same thing. When is it in July? So you want to be as detailed as possible. I think this is better so that you didn't put exactly. Okay, you included Friday here. Okay, so you can see even though it wasn't included beside the date, but when you're writing the section, you can see Friday, and your best guess is that Friday is relating to 19th and Saturday is relating to 20th. So I think yeah, this is a very good example of this is a very good example of being detailed as a graphic designer, and this is also a very good way of showing, or this is a very good way of arranging your dates. All right, in your flyers. I think this design was done by the Optimum guy, which is one of the creators that I look up to for the design, especially when it relates to short flyer designs. Let's see. I can't find any dates here. Just simply do that before you. That's another thing I need to point out. So in your flyer design, this design is very beautiful. Okay, very, very beautiful. But the problem with this design is okay, you're welcome, Miracle from Lauren. The problem with this design is that I can't find dates anywhere. And the funny thing is that dates might be hidden somewhere. This is just time. It just says Tuesday Bible study. As beautiful as this flyer is, it's not effective enough. All right, it's not effective enough, which is a little challenge. It's actually a big challenge, but I'm just saying it's a little challenge. All right, so this is another way of arranging, basically the same way of arranging font, the font for dates and all that, but there is nothing to five words. That's fine. That's fine. Still a very good and workable style. All right, this is a perfect way of, I won't say perfect, but it's a very good way of arranging your dates. Okay, especially, and the thing about arranging dates is that you have to put it in, well, I say put it in context now, but it's it depends on the situation. Okay, it depends on the situation that you find yourself in, especially the kind of alignment or the kind of arrangement rather that you want to use for the design. So it all depends on that. All right, let's look at one more design and we'll be done with talking about this. Let me see if I can make reference to. Okay, let's see if we can make reference to that. So this is another good way to arrange your dates. Okay, be very, very intentional about it. Okay, let's the main dates. Sorry, let's where did that go to? Okay, sorry. Let the main date home. So let me see. Um, where's my design? Okay, excuse me, please. So let's use this as an example. All right. So look at this right here. Okay, this is a very perfect way, or this is a better way to arrange it. I'm not saying my own is perfect, but this is a better way to arrange it. So you can see that the first thing you look at when you look at the dates, the first thing you can notice is the actual date, 27th to 30th. So when someone says, what's the date of this meeting? Please, one person is saying You cannot get another person saying you can hear me. Please, can you hear me? I would like to confirm, please. So one person is saying that, what am I saying? When someone looks at the design, the person wants to find out, okay, what is the date for this meeting? The person is okay. I think the screen is back. Okay, the screen is back. Sorry for that. Sorry about that. So I'm still talking about the arrangement of dates, okay? I was saying that there are questions that pop up in the mind of people that are looking at the flyer design. For example, the first thing the person asks is, when is this meeting? What is the actual date? What month? What year? Is it next year? How long do I have to prepare for this meeting? You get things like this are what pops up. And then most likely the last question they want to ask is, okay, this meeting, does it fall within my working days as if the person goes to work? You get, is this something I would have to take permission from work for? Is it something that I'll have to let my boss know that, okay, from certain time to certain time I will not be around because I want to go for a meeting? This, I'm just giving an instance, okay? And these questions can be answered just by looking at your design. You get, and by applying contrast of weight. Okay, so the first question the person asks, you've answered it by making this one the most bold thing that they can see. The second question the person is that we want to see, let's say, the second question that the person is going to ask, you've answered it. The second question is, what month, what year? Is it this year? Is it next year? You've answered it here by making it the next bold thing that people can see. Now, the last question that they want to ask is it something I will have to, what day of the week does it actually fall under? You can save people stress of checking their phone. This meeting is 27th to 30th of November 2025. Okay, what day is it? Instead of the person picking up the phone and checking, the person can just see the flyer and say, okay, is this day to this day? Imagine if they are using your flyer to run an ad, and the person now says, okay, let me check calendar to now see, to now find out the actual day of the week. You get, what if the person now goes to the calendar, and before you could switch back to the social media app, the advert has gone? How the person find the details? You get very important details, very important things that you need to take note of. All right. So the way you arrange the date matters a whole lot. So your choice of font can be better, not really bad, but the font can be better. This isn't visible. I just realized there was something to the atom. This isn't visible, okay? So try and make this probably the same color as this. Then finally is the background. The background. There are a lot of things to say about background, and I may not go into more details because of time. Probably in subsequent live sessions, but I think I do have a crash course on background manipulation. So if you need that, can you find a way to reach out to me later? Okay. But your background should tell a story. I keep saying this, I keep preaching this everywhere I go, everywhere I have opportunity to speak about design, especially in context of background. Your background should always do what? Tell a story. Everyone, type it to the comment section. My background should tell a story. My background should always tell a story. So let there be a story that your background is always telling. Okay? And the story that your background is telling should not be far from the theme of your meeting. Okay, it shouldn't be far from. That's why I was asked to do a design today, for example. Okay, and I was given the details, the ministers, the dates, the time, what kind of meeting it is. But I wasn't given one thing. I wasn't given the theme of the meeting. Okay. Now I have arranged a few things in the whole design, but I'm stuck. I can't even the arrangement sometimes still depends on the theme of the meeting. There are some Okay, let me show you this now. There are some themes of a meeting that can't be under. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Okay, let me show you something. Just hold on. Let me do a little comparison now. Look at this flyer design. Just hold on. Let me close this so that you can focus on something else. Look at that flyer design and look at this one. All right. Now, let me bring them up. Look, let me put them side by side instead. Okay, let's bring this up here. Okay. Now, take a look at these two designs, okay? You notice that one, the theme is up, the second one, the theme is down. It is very intentional. Should I tell you why? Because this weekly travels is of course the theme is a part is a very important information. But I want it to stand out very well because this design is a design that we use continuously. So I cannot afford to make the mistake of putting a very important information in a place where it will be obscure, or in a place where it will be too visible, or in a place where it will fight with another part of the design. That's why it's down here. Now, for this one, this was a one-time use design. This 24-hour design, so the one-time use design. But because there was no much emphasis on the background, that's why this thing is actually in this upper position. But if you look at this design, the background in this design is more detailed than this one. Let me zoom into this so you can see what I'm showing you. The background in this design, look at it, is very much detailed. I can count, this is one element, this is one, this is two, this is three, this is four, this is five, this is six, this is seven. So there are seven different pictures. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. I also tried to illustrate the wings of an eagle behind the man of God. I believe this is one of my best designs that I've done this year. Actually, according to my father and the Lord, what they do. You can argue with whoever you want to argue with. Amen. Amen. All right. So your background should always tell the story, and it's important that you tell the story the right way. The quality of the images that you use matter a whole lot. Okay, I can't do a full design breakdown here. Okay, I can't really do a full design breakdown here because if not, I have done a few things, but maybe in subsequent live sessions you can tweak that. I believe we have another person that sent his or her design. Okay, let's look at this. So while that loads, let's see if there's anything that we are missing out on. So that's basically it again. This position of this 180 minutes is quite vague. We're not sure 180 minutes of what exactly. Uh, it's quite vague. So the purpose of this thing is quite vague. So try and you probably put more context or make it clear that okay, it's 180 minutes of worship and stuff like that. All right. So I'm hoping this has later. Okay. All right. This is a good one. So you sent the same design with two different backgrounds. Which one do you start from? So basically, you say, okay, it's different dates. So, okay, two and three, okay, quite different, right? So, oh, no, let me just, let's see. So it says, befitting characters for God's election. Befitting characters for God's election. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to do this intentionally, but it was quite difficult for me to um, read this befitting characters, and I think I'll get into that in a moment of time. Okay, so let me just download this and do it from here instead. Befitting characters for God's election, part 3. Okay, 6 hours prayer, hope of scoring this now. I think one of the things I like about this design is it's well arranged. Okay, it's not noisy. All right, it's not noisy. You used one background, which is a very good step. That's a very good one. Like the more than one, if you actually use Photoshop to blend the features, that might be wrong. Of course, there are designs where if you see the background that I used, you would think it's just one picture that I copied and I downloaded from Pinterest or something. You won't know that it's actually a blend of several things. So let me see if I can illustrate that. I think actually in my 50 days of Pentecost flyer design, quite long one. Don't wait to find that. Let's see if we can find something like that. I just want to talk about. I think I'm starting with background here. Okay. So okay, let's look at this one. Um, Okay, no, there's one that's just came to my mind now. Abuja Apostolic Invasion. This isn't even giving me what I need to. Abuja Apostolic Invasion. I think that was it this year? I think it was this year. So let's see if we can find the main design. Yes, this is the folder. The Lord's Army. Here's the main design. Okay, no, not Abuja, Kaduna. Because I know I did them in the same time and it had the same thing. So this is the design I'm actually looking for. Let me close all these ones and move on. So we're done with this design critique, okay? Thank you so much, Moses, for sharing your design. So let's look at this, okay? KAI, Kaduna Apostolic Invitation. All right, so this is okay. So you can see what I was also talking about in arrangement of the photos of multiple photos. The reason why this one is looking seemingly bigger than others, which is not too over, is just because I tried to do that stuff. I said it's already a good practice for others. So design rules are meant to be broken once in a while, but for a good purpose though. All right. So if you look at this design, you think it's really the highest one or two distance. Now there's an effect I actually did here, and I don't know how this inspiration came, but it's actually very massive. Let me see if I can open the main file for you guys, just so that you can see what I'm talking about. So while that loads, you would think that okay, this picture of people praying came with the background. No, I just put the picture of the background, and then I found that there's a way I would erase this thing, and it should look like the both of them will look like they are one. Okay, so this is the main design in Photoshop. So let me just quickly show you. So if you look at my layers panel, I don't know how you can zoom into this. This okay, let me turn this off. Yes. Okay. So this is the actual one that is giving it that curved shape. Okay, that curved shape that you can see. This is the actual background that is giving them there. While the image is somewhere up here. Very two separate things. But I found a way to blend the both of them such that it looks like they are one. Alright, so that's one of the things that you should try and incorporate in your design. So back to this, I believe should have opened up here now. So let's have the both of them. Let me quickly construct it with another design quickly. Alright, so these are the last two designs we can be done for today. Meanwhile, if you have any specific questions that you would like to be answered or that you would like for me to answer, just drop it in the comment section here and once I see it, I'll attend to it after this critique. Okay, so befitting characters for God's election. Number one challenge with this design is that um, the contrast is a bit poor. Okay, and that poor contrast uh, you try to correct it by using what's it called now? Will I call this a drop shadow? You can either call this a drop shadow because you can achieve this using drop shadow or by duplicating the text and changing the color and putting it under another. So you try that. That's what you try to do here. Okay, but that didn't come out as good as expected. Reason being that this color white is very similar to the color of the background here, and that would make it very difficult for people to read the text of anything you're doing in your design generally. Okay, so always pay attention to that. You can either change the color or work on the background. Let me show you something about my designs. The truth is that many of my designs, especially my recent designs, the background is always looking very light. Let me close this up. The background is looking very light, but I try my possible best to either darken the background or lighten it up. I want to use a design that has been approved. Most of the designs I'm showing you guys has not been approved. Please. So let's see this one and let's even see the data weight upon the let's see. I don't think this is not a good example. This method design is a good example because there's really no text in the background there. So let's H and close the mistake. Sorry, making that up again. This is what I find down. I think this cloud of weaknesses, I did the same thing. So they rounded up in a bit. Let's see. All right, so this is it here. This is it, curves. I usually use curves to achieve this. So let me turn off the curves and so that I can see. This is the background was actually dark. Or sorry, it was the light. Which one? Sorry, it was dark. This is dark, right? This is dark. Meanwhile, let me turn off this other stuff and just leave the thing. I'm just going to leave only the thing and then the other stuff. So look at this now. We have just one background and then with this just trying to give a little bit of make it smoothing it out under here. And then for this group that is here. Nothing else. That's all. Alright. So you probably, if I take away this cloud of witnesses now, if you see this design, if you see this stuff on Pinterest, or if you see this stuff anywhere, you think that this is just one design. Why? Because cloud of witnesses, though which represents the Holy Spirit, looks like it's just one stuff, one background. But meanwhile, I can actually export. I feel like I should be exporting my background and posting on Pinterest so that um, some, some other guys can have access to it. Let me know what you think about if it's a good idea. Okay, so this cloud of witnesses now is fighting a little bit. One of the things I use to achieve contrast here is this outer glue. But let's remove the outer glue now. So you can see that this is fighting with the background. The font might be clear, but you can see that the theme is not it's not legible enough. There's something that I was taught a few years ago by someone I really look up to. He told me something. He said, always prioritize, or rather, he said, never never sacrifice legibility or creativity. I want you guys to type in the comment section. Never sacrifice legibility for creativity. What that means is in the in a situation where legibility and creativity are in contest, always allow legibility to win. That is, make sure that your design is legible. Make sure that the information on your design is legible. Okay, so let me come back to the outer glow. But aside this outer glow, one of the things I also did was to use curves to lighten up the background, just to enhance the legibility of the thing. It's not as if the way it is here now is totally bad, okay? But to ensure that my viewers, my audience don't struggle while reading the thing, I had to make it brighter just to enhance that contrast. And also, another reason why I did it is because if you turn this off now, if I turn this off, you notice that outside of this theme is darker, which means the ratio of or the darkness to light transition is very obvious, or rather it's not obvious. So I had to make it very obvious. That's actually what or part of what contrast means. Just the ability to make the transition from light to dark very obvious. Let it be very obvious. Okay. So another reason why I put this curve there is so that the color, the whole color of the outer blue can also blend a little bit with the background. So that's just about blending stuff and contrast. Okay. So you need to work on your contrast and your choice of font because this font was quite difficult for me to read. Especially seeing that the word is not a common word. Now, this is that you need to pay close attention to. If the words that you're using in the design is not a common word, please use a font that is very legible. For example, if, for example, let's say it's a church card design, and you want to write something else. Let me say, for example, now this word witnesses. Let me use the same design, okay? Witnesses. This word witnesses is quite a common word. So I can easily use the man of God's head to block part of this thing, because once you see the cloud of witnesses, if you're a Bible person, okay, your mind will quickly tell you, wow, where did they say, where did the Bible talk about cloud? Okay, most likely for thinking New Testament, the next thing that should come to your mind is what the word witnesses. And I've already given it out, say that okay, this is WI. So once it's the cloud of we, it should already it tells you that okay, this is the cloud of witnesses. Okay, I don't have to do so much labor in pointing that out. So it's one of the things you need to pay attention to. If your word isn't a common word, let it be very legible, let it be very bold, and let it be very readable. Okay. Um, the arrangement is quite fair, but it can obviously be better. So there's something you did here that is interesting. This contract of weight is very, very good. Okay, you separated the ministry from the person's name. But this one is okay. So let me put you what one thing I learned from Chris Do. So one of the things you can how you can apply this contract of weight rather contract of weight is that they will tell you if you want to make something, if you want to really differentiate between two different information or two similar, different and similar, an information can be different but similar at the same time. For example, in venue, the hub and off openness of there is they are similar because we're talking about the same thing. That is the venue, but they are different because the description or the details are actually different. So he says skip a weight. What do I mean? I'm not sure I applied this here because of the kind of font this is. Okay, I think I did. So this is regular. This is the regular size of this font called Benny. Okay, but for this one, what I used, if you see here now, if you check this place, after regular is light. Okay, no, after regular is actually bold. Okay, that's why I say this font is not a good example. It will give me a good example of what I want to explain. So let me look from that font. Okay, look at this here now. For this for inquiries. This is the same typeface but different font weight. So for this for inquiries, which is not the actual most important information in this part of this design now, I use bold. But for the phone number, which is that is the actual phone number, which is actually more important than the word for inquiries, is I use the weight black. Now, if you check the difference between black and bold, there's a font weight rather between them. So we tell you skip a weight. So if you're using bold for the less important information, skip a weight and then use the next weight for the most important information. And if you want to use bold to describe the most important information, skip a font and choose the next one for the less important information. Okay, so that's just one of the ways you can apply the principle of contrast of weights in font. All right. So, but the way we applied it here, of course, you notice the difference between the two font weights is very, very obvious. Okay, you don't want to make it too obvious. It's looking like one of the fonts is having construct and the other one is obese. So you don't want to have that very, very obvious difference. You just need to have something that will make it easy to clarify that okay, there's a difference between this one and the other one. All right. So one of the things I will do here is to increase the size of this 4am so that you can touch these two sides. So you notice that that is a very big trend that I use in most of my designs. So you can see that here. You should also be able to see that. All right, you can see that here too. You can see that. Let me show you where it's more obvious. Let's see. Mm, look at the place where I stretched it out quite the extent. Okay. Anyways, let's see. Let me select this so I can preview carefully. Mm, okay, let's use this one. So the point there is to stretch out the underlying information, such that it touches the 2 points. Okay, so you can see this is proper alignment. All right, it's very important to, let's say if you have, okay, the arrangement of the date is, the fact that you're able to spell out all the details is very good, but there is no emphasis. Okay, you just restart the 2nd August 25. Good, but you need to put emphasis. Probably make Saturday 2nd more bold than the other stuff, or make 2nd August more bold than the other stuff, and you're good to go. All right. So the whole idea behind all these details that I actually put into, this is a good use of contrast of weight, but it can be better. Just apply the skip a weight principle. So the whole idea around, or the whole um, reason why I am able to pay this much attention to details like this is actually because of the kind of designs that I do. Both the kinds of designs that I do, and most, or more importantly, who I'm doing the designs for. Okay. So you notice that most of the designs that I do for a Baba Hub, they are very, very specific, very, very specific, straight to the point. This is, I think, one of the best designs that I've done this year. One of the reasons why is because the background is very, very detailed, straight to the point. And then I think this was the beginning of my use of this inner glow effect. Okay, if you want me to talk about the inner glow effect, kindly let me know in the comment section. Okay, I think it was the beginning of the, this was at the beginning, yes. But I actually took inspiration from this from here, but I practiced it very well here more. Alright, so you notice my designs before them didn't really have that inner glow, or it wasn't that prominent. Okay, but that was where I put it into practice the most. So another thing here is this. Okay, so the size of the image is actually too small compared, is, you made the man of God look like that is very small. Okay, so you want the man of God to look as bold as possible. I'm not saying you should fool everywhere, but let it be as bold as possible. Take a look at this now. Take a look at this. We are closing in the next few minutes. Okay, so it seems like there are no questions, so we'll be ending with this. Let me use a design to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, that's this actually. Okay, okay, so that can't come up at this time. Okay, let's use this for example. Let's say that this is the image now for this design, and then I now reduce this image like this. I know you might think I'm being dramatic, but this is actually what we do sometimes as creatives. Okay, imagine this was, imagine if this was the size of the actual design. You find that the person is not legible enough. It's like as if you're boxing the person, you're putting the person in one small box. Okay, so you want to take note of that and ensure that there is enough proportion. The proportion is quite stable, or it's quite adequate. All right. So with that, we've come to the end of this live session. And since, let me just cross check one more time. Okay. Since there are no questions, I believe we can call it a day here. All right. So thank you so much for joining me on this live session. We'll be having it subsequently, especially from the month of September, okay, because we'll be starting a 30 days content campaign from September 1st. So look out, we'll be posting a lot of inspiring stuff for creatives, um, tools, resources, tips, hacks, tricks, how to do a lot of things in your designs, how to get better, a lot of resources, free premium resources and all that. So we'll be sharing that um, during the whole 30 days campaign stuff. So um, ensure that ensure that you follow through, ensure that um, you like, comment, share the whole during the whole content, doing the whole text content stuff, and trust that you'll be blessed after that. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. God bless you all. Good night, and see you in the next stream.